All right, so I guess I'm live. I'm out with the dogs, and I'm trying to turn. So you can't. Well, there's Toby. You can't really see him. There's Ellie. Yeah, there's my set. People talk about my set. That's just my dining room table. That's not my set. I had one guy say that. Why isn't it? I can't freaking see with my glasses on. It's too close. Switch. Anyway, somebody said, "Hey, I had a good set for my videos and like the telescope." Well, that's just my dining room table, dude. That's not really a set. But anyway, I've been I did several beer reviews today. I actually did dump the Game of Thrones, the smoked porter and creek ale. Not a fan. I like both of those separately, but together they just combated too much in my mouth. And at 6.6%, I wonder if I bought it on sale, and I wonder if it's just too old, and that may be part of the problem. So anyway, I'm almost done with the oyster stout from Great Lakes. I got a little bit left somewhere. Oh, now Toby's whining. And I just watched a video on quantum mechanics and what quantum mechanics really said. And so what is very interesting to me, and I got my glasses on, so I can't really see this. This is all blurry unless I hold it way out here. What I believe he said, and I left this as a comment, and if you find that, I think I posted on Facebook the link to that. Oh, and Ellie wants in. I'm gonna let her in while I'm trying to do this. I mean, I really cannot see. Everything is so. I got my glasses on, which means anything less than arm's length is blurry as crap. Plus, I'm drunk off my butt. But anyway, and now I'm backlit. I'm drunk, but I still know how to do proper um, stuff. But anyway, I'm on my back porch. It is like close to midnight. I'm well past my bedtime. I just let Dozer in, and let's see if we can see. There's Dozer. He's like 9 months old, and he's getting huge. But there's where I record all my videos, right there. And those are lights above me, and there's the. We got to clean the optics on that. The optics are really crap right now. They need to be cleaned. But anyway, if the discussion on quantum mechanics, I'm going to try and not fall down the steps when I let Toby off the leash and I still maintain semi framing. What I believe that he was saying, being a computer science background, I mean, I did take computer science classes, I did have computational theory and all that other stuff, which was actually one of my favorite classes when I understood it, which took me right up until about a week before the final, oddly enough. Come on, Toby. So what I believe he said was that, in terms of in computer science terms, not in quantum mechanic physics terms, that a classic model of the universe, or a classic model of physics, if you take on a classic assumption, you basically end up with what we call a deterministic state machine in computer science. What that means is whatever state you're in currently, you know how you got there based on where you are. So it is very deterministic. Why am my hair is doing crazy things? Anyway, with a non-deterministic state machine, which is most systems that I've dealt with on a professional level where there's multiple paths to the same state, you can't tell how you got there unless you save how you got there. So with a deterministic state machine, you know how you got there. There's only one path, so you don't really have to save state. So think of a coin operated soda machine, let's say. Well, until you put money in, it'll just say, if you hit a button, it'll say, please insert, I don't know, 50 cents, let's just say. And so until you've inserted at least 50 cents, it won't get into a state of select a cola. So that is a deterministic state machine. But if you had multiple paths to selecting a cola, maybe credit, maybe, hey, you're just a lucky winner of a free soda, you don't know how you got there unless you save the state that how you got there. You don't know if someone put 50 cents in or they're just a lucky bystander that gets a free soda today. So that's an example. And anyway, so what I see, I hate it when it's that way. What I believe what he was saying was, if you have a classical definition of physics is a deterministic state machine. You know how you went from A to B. There's only one path from A to B. There's not, You can't start at state A and get to B. You can't start at state C and get to B, and start Q and get to B, and maybe go to D or whatever. A non-deterministic state machine, if you don't save the path how you got to someplace, you don't know how you got there. When you have multiple ways of getting there. So in computer programming, many times, not always, but let's say it's if it's a well enough entangled machine, you know the references based on calls in the system. So it's basically one code base as opposed to, hey, maybe if I put it out here, I won't be so blurry. Say if it was a web service that can call from anything, you don't know how people got here. You just know that they're authorized to be there, and that's all you know, but you don't know how they got there. But in a call system where you have functions and you're calling one from another, and you can say, and even things like Visual Studio and other IDEs will say, hey, there's 6 references to this method. So there's 6 ways that you can get here. When there's only one way you can get there, that's a deterministic state machine. When there's multiple, it's a non-deterministic. You're not really sure how people got here unless you have either saved state or information about the caller that tells you, oh, this is how they got here. And maybe you do something slightly different. So in this guy's talk about quantum mechanics, what it sounded to me like was when you have a deterministic state machine, you have classic mechanics, you have Newtonian, not really Newtonian, Einstein physics. I mean, some Newtonian rules still apply, but depending on where you are, and some rules with Einstein still apply until you get to certain pieces. This is where you get the quantum entanglement, and this is where you get the, what they call the fuzzy, not fuzzy loop, but anyway, the strange theory at a distance. And then with a non-deterministic state machine, so you don't really know, A and B are entangled, but you don't really know how they're entangled, and you don't know why they're entangled, just know they are. Then information about B is actually relevant to A and vice versa. So you have to know something about A in order to solve for B. That's a non-deterministic state machine, is what it really sounded like. So that's what it felt like. So anyway, I just thought I would go live with incredible stupidity at midnight because, and let's see here. So there is Toby. And why does it go so dark? I mean, it's not that dark here where he's sitting, laying. And that is Dozer. Dozieskis. And look, there's Ellie, the old maid. And maybe I can flip it over. And maybe later when I wake up and I'm semi-sober, I'll share this on WCBS. But here we go. This is the last bit of the oyster stout. Once it's warmed up, the oysters really tone down and the saltiness tone down, or I'm just drunk. I don't know. 11% alcohol. It's decent. It's not really chocolate. It's as chocolatey as I thought it would be. I did review it tonight, and I was very, very torn on what to give it. It'll be noticeable when I finally edit the video and we get it live on YouTube. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. My beer reviews, I've got a zillion up. I really don't know how many I have to edit yet. Here's the problem. YouTube is becoming more corporate, and they really don't like people drinking alcohol on camera. When's the last time you saw a beer ad on television where someone actually consumed the alcohol? I think the 60s was the last time that was allowed on television, and they don't care for it. And I've even noticed on beer reviews, there's a guy, I forget his name, he's got, hey, what's in the fridge today? 28,000 subscribers, and he might get 100 views on a new beer review. If you look at older beer reviews, 3,000, 4,000, sometimes 10,000 views. So YouTube is burying anything they don't like, and it's not just political stuff. It's sometimes, hey, you're indulging in adult beverage. See, now if I take my glasses off, everything is very clear, but man, my hair is just out of sight. I got to get a haircut. But anyway, so now I'm in my kitchen. Boy, it looks weird with the light changing and flying. That's even worse. So if I backlight myself, that is a lot of light. Now, what's crazy about those lights, and let's flip it around. And I know nobody's watching, but I don't care. So that's the light above me. This is where I do almost all my beer reviews. Now, this is the standard view from here in the kitchen, especially when I can put on a 35 millimeter. And granted, it's a 1.5. It's a crop sensor, so it's 1.5. But this is the old way I used to do them over here. But as I said, this is not a set. But those lights are We got some LED lights, and those are only 40 watt, if I remember correctly, maybe 60. I think they're 40, but they only produce the heat of like 5 watts. It's awesome. The LEDs, not the compact fluorescents. Now I can turn that off, and I won't be so backlit. I like the LEDs. Compact fluorescents, they actually make people sick. My arm is hurting. My goodness, I'm old as crap. EVS is 6 years younger than I am, by the way, and I think it shows. But anyway, God bless. As you see the wall behind me, this is a green. I forget how many years ago my mother-in-law painted this, but she took. We had a base color, and she took newspaper and spotted on there, and so apparently the dogs are going nuts because Harley is trying to come. But anyway, I've been on live for over 10 minutes. I don't know who's coming through the door, but I guess I'll find out. Probably my daughter. Hopefully it's my daughter. If not, I'll have to beat somebody up. All right. So we'll see you later, and goodbye. So quantum mechanics, deterministic state machine, non-deterministic state machine. Bye.